My E34 has been rotting quite bad. It has always been very reliable to me over the last 2 years, which is why I feel an obligation to save this hunk of scrap. Doesn't pick up too well on camera, but the plastic covers for the sills are completely hanging loose. Yeah, I can just take these off on the quick. There's these weird little clips right there, which already come with rust. Amazing. Yeah, this is all gone. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm going to be... silicone, great. And then there's 2 10 mils right here, which will definitely auto-destroy. The whole bottom of the sill was only held in with 1 clip and 2 screws, which explains why it's dangling so loosely. And there's a ton. This is rust, man. It just, yeah, it's, ooh. In case you're wondering, this is not dirt, this is all rust from the wing. Ah, okay, yeah. No wonder this was just dangling around. Of course, every single grommet and clip is broken. So, I picked up new BMW clips, new bolts, new clips, new grommets, some other clips. Yeah, I think we should have everything to get this thing on the road again. Every time I order at the dealer, I'm literally crying, but with parts like this, I have no choice. Only these clips were like 130 euros, albeit with shipping, but still really expensive. Since this thing where the massive hole is not part of the sill, but only the wing, I bought a repair piece for this and will likely cut it right here. In the end, I bought reproduction fenders. They don't fit good, but time-wise there was nothing else possible. And now the indicator. And the E34, I feel like, is one of the easiest cars ever to remove the front bumper. The first time I removed it, I was seriously surprised by how easy it actually is. After you remove these clips, only 2 bolts per side, and boom, the whole bumper is loose. It's seriously easy. Also, I had a hit and run on this. I was at the local KFC getting a bucket, and yeah, somebody hit the number plate holder, which is why this just fell off, because since then it doesn't really hold as good. The whole bumper is cracked even more, and I just replaced the 2 plastic covers because these were the only ones that shattered. Yeah, didn't have access to the cameras, so whatever. That during the hit and run, this bracket broke, so the bumper is sagging tremendously. Pretty much the entirety of the sill is still in the condition where you don't have to weld, but only remove the rust thoroughly via means of sandblasting and then chemical treatment. Nope. Right here, I may have to do a little patching, but yeah, we'll have to see. These are the jacking points, which I don't use. I always jack up my car from the subframes, which I prefer. So yeah, this will be a lot quicker, and the base is a lot better than expected. Okay, bad news. I was just able to see the carpet in this region, so I'm gonna have to pull the carpet, seats, interior, everything. What a nice discovery, right? After uncovering much more rust than initially anticipated, I started cutting everything out, removing spot welds, after many hours of getting this piece to fit. It still has a little too close of a gap near the door, but it is acceptable. Right here I have a little less gap than right there, so it will still get pushed up and this gap will close. At the bottom the gap is also a little too big, but the lines match here and here. Yeah, also in the jamb I managed to get a really nice line. I still have to do a tiny bit. Like when I weld, I can use a screwdriver and pull it into the correct position. It's very close, but since I only have one hand right now, I can only show you so much, so I'm using these clamps. Yeah, this will go to there, and the length here on the replacement panel doesn't fit nearly as good as on the original. So once I've tacked up until right there, I can bend this over with a hammer and dolly. And yeah, this should be an acceptable repair that will hopefully not rust anytime soon. Also, I'm still waiting on the paint, so I cannot tack this in. Also, I still have to fabricate the whole inside of this and bend it back into shape, and so on and so on. I used the finger sander to remove undersill and check until where I had to cut. Then I used a small angle grinder to cut out the rust. And used a mix of carton and paper to do templates, which I then transferred onto metal. And then I shaped these using hammers, dollies, and just basic tools. This is what it looks like on the inside. The weld line is right there. You can still see it like a tiny bit, but that's not bad. I now spray epoxy over it. I have 2K paint and primer coming. I want to give it a bit of protection before actually spraying that on. Also, this dissolves any rest of rust that is there from sitting open. Some dumb piece of shit decided it would be a good idea to just smear silicone all over the length of the sill, so water couldn't drain, and therefore the whole inner, middle and outer sill are completely corroded away. That means I had to cut out major sections of the sill, the underbody, basically everything. I had to drill out the seat traverse. I just had to do so much work. Yeah, wasn't really fun. The whole entirety of the front sill, I had to rebuild it and weld it back in. Really not a great time I had doing this. Here I used painter's tape to stick it over the rust and do a template, which I then remade in metal. And right here there's tar mats everywhere, and I am not going to touch that, so I bought some dry ice. First time using that stuff. Yeah, I hope it works as well as it does in the videos, because yeah, I have high hopes. In case you don't know this ice, it's incredibly cold, so don't touch it, because you get frostbite or whatever. Also, not supposed to be used in closed rooms, so I let that do its thing for a few minutes and then try to whack that off. Works like a charm, man. After removing tar mats, there's always these small black residues, and you can remove these, believe it or not, with brake clean. Brake clean actually removes tar pretty well, and bitumen, so yeah, cleaning with brake clean is an option. I'll clean it up and show you afterwards. Before, after. In the cabin, I didn't even grind everything down, I just went over it with a wire brush and applied some rust converter and paint. The result is rather nice. On the underbody, we had full penetration. This is not welds from the underbody, but just the weld that protruded from the top. Really good result. I ground that down all the way. It's also very strong. I was jumping around on it once again with my 90 kgs. Didn't move, we have no heat can effect, good result. After finishing the rear quarter, I was quite surprised with the result. It's rather okay. Unfortunately, I did have a bit of heat shrink in there, so I would have to use a bit of filler, but that's nothing too major. Here you can see the heat shrinkage going on. This is only primered with no filler on there. After welding in a new sill, I applied underseal and wax and painted the fenders. And this is the finished result. Well, it is quite a big color difference, but yeah, with the paint supplier I always had issues with them, and I will never ever go back to them. But I also had issues spraying the clear, because I had no compatible thinner for the clear, so that's bad. But I already polished everything and it looks halfway okay. In the back I haven't polished it yet, so there I do have a lot of orange peel, and the paint not matching is also very annoying. But these few defects, that's something you just have to accept when you do everything yourself. Welding, painting, prep, yeah. I didn't learn all of that in a specific school or in the trade school. I just always go with the flow. Result is acceptable. The paint is not too good, but the welding job I did, I don't want to brag, but I think it turned out rather good. On the rear quarter, I did have a bit of heat distortion, so I needed a bit of filler, but it's like 1 millimeter, not even, so yeah, that shouldn't lift. And I used a spatial filler that shouldn't crack, so I don't think we're gonna have issues. I also switched to Kuzi. That's a different welding process. I did jump around with my 90 kgs on a few tack welds and it held up fine. So strength wise, I also did a lot of research and I don't think we'll reach any problems. So yeah, the repairs are pretty much invisible if you would have good paint on it. On the underbody, after grinding everything down, you can't see the repair and the underfloor melts perfectly with the rest of the car. So yeah, the only difference is the color in the undersill and the paint on the outside. But if the car gets a full respray at some point in the future, I'll hopefully have painting down to a T, and I hope I can get a better result. The car also passed technical inspection. That means two things. I'm very happy. We need upgrades. I bought homologated camber plates for my E34 and my dream wheels. Artac MS wheels for the E34. These are the beauties. Don't worry, the orange candy red color will not stay. I actually despise it. On my new car it looks okay, but on the E34 it looks horrendous. So we'll paint these anthracite grey. They currently have 265 tires on there, and the wheel is 10 inches in the rear and 8.5 inches at the front. Pretty much the same specs as my old RH wheels, but these are in 18 inch and that's exactly what I needed. I did actually want to go lower this season already, but right now money is tight. So yeah, this will have to do, and I'm really looking forward to mounting these on the car. Next episode. And this is the newest shitbox addition to the channel.